I got some transfer portal intel, and you're going to hear it. Sam Hartman is in the portal as of the moment, but it seems like any given moment he could end up hopping out of the portal and landing in South Bend, Indiana. Sam Hartman, a grad transfer, quarterback, feels like forever at Wake Forest. Really good numbers. You've no doubt watched him play by now. I don't need to describe him as a quarterback to you, but here's the sitch up at Notre Dame. Tyler Buckner's still there. There are questions about his long-term future. Drew Pine is not there anymore. He's headed off to Arizona State, and frankly, if they get Hartman in there, Drew Pine was going to be an afterthought anyway. So it looks like the betting favorite right now for Sam Hartman will be Notre Dame. Now, that does not mean, I would encourage you, go to 247sports.com. Chris Hummer did a good rundown of a lot of the quarterbacks. I'm just touching on some of them, but a lot of the quarterbacks who are in the portal, were just in the portal. Sam Hartman, Notre Dame, betting favorite right now. Keep an eye on it because that stuff can change on a dime. What about Brennan Armstrong? This is a name that comes kind of out of left field. You know, if you're an ACC fan or you bet on college football or you're just a diehard fan, yeah, you know Brennan Armstrong. Been around Virginia, it feels like, for a long time. He's in the portal right now. Who are we watching here, though? Well, Oklahoma State. I was reading a lot of Hummer stuff, and this makes a lot of sense. Oklahoma State, a program to watch. I guess we could call them a slight betting favorite. I don't think that would be irresponsible. No one's setting actual odds on this stuff anyway, at least someone who wants to keep their money. But Brennan Armstrong to Oklahoma State, could it happen? Well, I would argue they need it to happen there because if you've been following Oklahoma State, it was a catastrophic back half of the season for them. And then you saw a bunch of guys, including quarterback Spencer Sanders, jump in the transfer portal. Mike Gundy was really testy about the future of his program at his post-game press conference after the bowl loss, as he should be. What are they going to do? And I would answer that, or I'd ask that question at a number of positions, but I'm especially asking it at quarterback, so they have to have an answer because their quarterback depth right now, they don't have a guy on campus that can play winning football for them, I don't believe, in 2023. So they need an answer via the portal. Brennan Armstrong could be that, but also they need some good news. There's been no good news for Oklahoma State football. And that's a program at one point this year, just to show you how long a football season is, they were the brief favorite to win the Big 12 around week 4, week 5. Remember that? Texas had fallen off. Oklahoma had lost 3 in a row. No one believed in the long-term sustainability yet of Kansas State, TCU likewise, and Oklahoma State was the most proven commodity. And then it went splat, and it went splat in a hurry. Actually not speaking at all of Oregon State, but I want to go to Oregon State right quick. You out there celebrating Christmas may have taken it upon yourself to tune out of the goings-on in college football. That's okay. We didn't. And so as you come back to the table, I want to let you know something. DJ Uiagalelei is not in the portal anymore. He has landed about as far away from Clemson, South Carolina as you could, unless you went to Hawaii. Briefly mentioned, by the way. He has landed in Corvallis, Oregon. He is an Oregon State Beaver. What do we think of this? Well, I was doing radio out on the West Coast, as I will do again in the morning, joining our friends up there in Portland, and I was asked about this, and here's the most interesting facet here. There's a widely held assumption, I guess I kind of agree with it, that DJ probably just isn't quite the player we thought he was going to be coming out of high school. That is not unfair. You can say that respectfully without being scathing. However, what if we're wrong about that? And time will tell, because he's not done. So he's got some tread left on his tires here in terms of being a college football player. My question, what if he goes up to Oregon State and he plays the best football we've seen him play so far? In and of itself, that doesn't mean anything. But what if it coincides with Clemson under Cade Klubnik still not really having the spark that you expect from Clemson football? All of a sudden, here's what could happen. We've seen it a million times before. A guy moves on to what doesn't seem like to be greener pastures, but yet his numbers are better, and he looks more comfortable, and he's in rhythm, and he's in sync. And then you look back at his old place where they thought they'd be better without him, and they're still clunking along. And I'm just picturing a world, because this is a possible scenario, midway through 2023. Clemson's already dropped a game they shouldn't drop, and meanwhile, Oregon State's right there in the thick of it again. DJ's playing really good ball. Also, the system they run out there, not nearly as pass-heavy, so it probably suits him stylistically a lot more. Let's just keep an eye on it. I think Cade Klubnik is a potentially great player. I think that combined with hopefully some alterations Dabo Swinney makes to his program will lead to a bounce-back year of sorts for Clemson. Could be a win-win. Both parties could be better off in 2023. We shall see. Hudson Card, the Christmas crowd, in other words, the normal people among us who weren't paying as much attention to the portal over the past week. Did you know Hudson Card found a new home too? And it's in West Lafayette, Indiana. That's right. He's a Boilermaker. Now, that you may have known, but how many of you could name the current head coach at Purdue? It's dead air. I'm just giving you time to think. It is Ryan Walters, who was the defensive coordinator for Illinois this year. Broyles Award finalist, by the way. And furthermore, how many of you can name the offensive coordinator at Purdue right now? Because these are all new answers, obviously. It's Graham Harrell. And if you want to make some sense of Hudson Card, out of all the places he could have gone, choosing to go from Austin to Purdue, you need look no further than the offensive coordinator he's linking up with, which is a pivotal thing to pay attention to, obviously, if you got a new staff coming in. Hudson Card, this was very quiet. This will not draw nearly the attention of some of the other more high-profile transfers. There may be some guys who aren't even in the portal yet who still go in the portal that command more attention than this. But if you look at some of the 2022 Big Ten passing ranks, Purdue was first in completions, attempts, passing yards. So are we to assume that those numbers fall off a cliff because they hired a defensive-minded coach? Or are we to believe that getting a guy who's been through the ringer a little bit at quarterback, combining him with a proven, to some degree, offensive coordinator in Graham Harrell, and hopefully Ryan Walters sort of turning the keys over to those guys, are we to assume that we'll get more of the same? Potentially. We'll see. I am very, very fascinated by that link up, though. Georgia made some noise, too. Dominic Lovett, the receiver out of Missouri, he landed at Georgia over the Christmas break. So did Ra Thomas from Mississippi State. He landed there. And those are a couple of guys that, you know, Dominic Lovett, 850-yard reception kind of guy. Ra Thomas had 626 this year. In the right system, they are both 1,000-yard potential guys. Not predicting it for either one. That is a hard stat to come by. The opportunity will be there for either one of them to break out. So keep an eye on all these, and as I have said many times, I'll reiterate it once more, we fully expect a second wave in the transfer portal, and it could be quarterbacks. You just never know. So when these playoff games start happening, you know, for better or for worse, we will find out about two of these rosters maybe by early next week, because either TCU or Michigan's going to be out. Their season will be over. Either Georgia or Ohio State will see their season end this Saturday, and then we'll find out if some guys off those rosters are moving. We got Utah and Penn State in the Rose Bowl coming up. Well, I mean, stands to reason some guys could move on from those programs. We'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Make sure you like the video and please subscribe to the channel. Not just for me, that's how we keep this entire thing free.